All right. Welcome back. I'm back already. I went live just a few hours ago. And I'm back already because you can all thank comedian Cory for my prompt presence back on YouTube. Cory. Now, she's a comedian and I think an actress, maybe some other stuff. But she's primarily a comedian and a pit bull advocate. She has made several nasty tweets towards Ashar. She has gone back and forth with Ashar a couple times. And she seems like a very rude, disrespectful person. That's just what it seems like. Now, this is her Twitter handle. She used to have a blue check next to her name, but Elon Musk took her blue check away. I wonder why. Elon Musk was having none of that. Cory? Who is that? Oh, a pit nutter? Let's remove that blue check. Now, I don't know Elon Musk on a personal level, but if pit bulls had anything to do with him removing her blue check, I have to give him credit for that. Just like I have to give Donald Trump credit for his discontent for dogs, if nothing else. Now, according to her Twitter handle, she's an actress, writer, comedian, and executive director of the Stand Up for Pits Foundation. Now, I sent her a tweet letting her know that I was going to be talking about her. She would be the subject of discussion for this live stream. The only reason I'm doing this is because this is a public figure. This is a public figure. Now, someday my channel might get so large that I have to become a public figure. That I have to, have a physical presence before the people. She's at that level right now. And this is the information she's putting out here. Now, yesterday, she made this tweet right here. Y'all see that? She said, please share this with morons who don't like pit bull type dogs and believe the BS myths. Now, Ashar responded to this tweet, said, what BS myths? Like the severe injuries that these dogs are known for inflicting upon people? What does showing that pit bulls sleep prove? That's all she showed in this video. 2 pit bulls sleep or sleepy. You see the black mutt? It's falling asleep. Okay, watch. And then it lays down. It's falling asleep. It's tired. Okay? Don't blame me. Blame Cory. What exactly does this video prove? Is this supposed to prove that pit bulls are harmless? Okay, you've shown a video of pit bulls sleeping. And she told us to share this with people who don't like pit bull type dogs. So I'm sitting here with thousands of reports of dog attacks, unprovoked, that involve pit bulls. I'm sitting here with dozens, hundreds of people with their faces ripped off, disfigured. These reports are coming in on a daily basis, and yet this video is supposed to disprove all of that? What exactly is this supposed to prove at all? Now, my apologies for some people who have a low tolerance for stupidity, but we have to dive into the mentality, the psyche of a pit nutter. One more time for this video, for this live stream. I know it's difficult. It can be a bumpy ride, but these are the people that I'm dealing with. Now, there's no way to argue that this video proves anything. Her goal is to show proof that pit bulls are misunderstood and that they're actually harmless, sweet creatures that are inherently good. She even put it in the hashtag, inherently good. And she put dumb is dangerous. So we're dumb for acknowledging all of these reports that involve pit bulls. Now, don't let anybody tell you. Don't let anybody tell you that dogsbite.org is not a legit website. Never let anybody tell you that. Because dogsbite.org, unlike pit bull advocates, they provide sources, references to everything that they say. Every attack, they provide a link to the actual story. So when I look at this and I see that pit bulls are responsible for 66% of all fatalities, where's the myth at in that? Does this fact somehow disappear just because we saw a video of a pit bull sleep? Is that the logic here, Rebecca Cory? I follow this woman on Twitter, and she makes the most illogical tweets you could imagine. Pit bulls combined with Rottweilers made up some 76% of all deaths. Hello, Rottweilers are a pit bull type of breed. They're bully breeds. So we're talking about 17% of total deaths responsible, these bully breeds. But make way for this video that somehow disproves or minimizes the facts surrounding these things. Is this a strong case? Is this a strong argument? Now, I want to focus on Rebecca Cory. Because this woman, she is conducting a Stand Up for Pits event today. This is her Instagram. You see this? Stand Up for Pits with Rebecca Cory in Tacoma, Washington, November 20th. Tacoma Comedy Club. Now, I think you can adopt pit bulls here and other stuff. Here's what's going on. And I wanted to honor this event, this day, by focusing on Rebecca Cory and her movement. But I have to say, it doesn't make sense. Hey, I'd support it. I'd support anything that makes sense. Now let's listen to the great words of wisdom from Rebecca Cory.
You know, it's been proven over and over again that humans who abuse animals will likely, and most oftentimes do, this is fact, not theory, they go on to commit crimes against humans.
Y'all catch that? She pointed out that humans who are aggressive towards animals will most likely be aggressive towards humans.
So whether you own a pit bull or whether you own dogs or even like animals at all, it doesn't matter. If you're a member of the society, if you have children, they could be next, because there are horribly broken humans out there doing horrible things, and pit bulls are the mere reflection of it. They are the most targeted, most abused breed on planet Earth.
Whoa, they're the most targeted, most abused on planet Earth? Really? Pit bulls? How do you know that? How'd you find that out?
And our answer in this country and around the world is to ban them and kill them all, get rid of them.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. But we're not banning them and killing them. They shouldn't be banned and exterminated because they're the most abused. I don't even believe that. They need to be banned and exterminated because they're the most dangerous. They're the most destructive. We don't have to. I'm not going to debate with you about that, Rebecca. The facts prove that. The facts are on my side, not yours. Now, this statement that pit bulls are the most abused and targeted, how did she find that out? How could she possibly find that out? Is there even a way to find that out? That is a statistic that you can't even prove. For all that you know, I could have a pit bull beside me right now, and I could be choking it right now and plucking its eyes out. And its mouth could be taped shut and you can't hear it. Nobody will know that I abused this dog. So, slow your roll. Talking about the pit bulls are the most abused. I don't think the average person has some desire to abuse pit bulls more than they abuse other dogs, to abuse dogs in general. Now, what does happen is people defend themselves against pit bull attacks more often than they defend themselves against attacks from other dogs. That does happen. And when that happens, nutters will find what? An injured pit bull. Then they will say, oh, somebody did this just for laughs. Truth is, you don't know why these things are injured. And the truth is, these things attack more often than other breeds, and they inflict more damage on average than other breeds. They're responsible for 100% of patients hospitalized for at least 7 days or more. If you're hospitalized for 5 days, over 90% of those patients were attacked by a bully breed. You go to 7 days and beyond, all dog attack victims were attacked by a bully breed. Rebecca Cory, that's not a myth. That's a fact. So it sounds to me like the reason why you find so many injured bully breeds is because so many people defend themselves from them. That's a good chunk of these injured bully breeds that you find. So no, I don't buy, none of us, we don't buy this idea that pit bulls are so abused. What we do know is that they're so violent and they cause so much damage. You don't want to talk about that, do you, Rebecca? Huh? Look at her Instagram, by the way. Boy, look at this. Now just keep in mind, I've never seen her with a female pit bull. I'm just offering that information. The only pit bulls I've ever seen her with have been male. I'm just pointing something out. I'm just pointing something out. Now, does it make sense? Maybe this is a female. Does it make sense to stand up for pit bulls? Let's look at the overall event this she's having today. Does it make sense to stand up for pit bulls? Are pit bulls something that needs to be defended and protected? I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say no. And she's talking about dogs in general. I'm going to say no. They don't need protected. The victims of dog attacks need protected. That's the pandemic. And look at this disgustingness right here. Okay, am I somehow a bad person because I see this as disgusting? Thing got green slime across its mouth and it's licking its nose, and that's disgusting. Okay, if you think I'm a bad person for believing that, hey, that's on you. Believe what you want. Now, let me show you something else. Look at this. Said, I don't care for any of these people because none of them care about the mass murder and horrors happening to dogs every day in this country. I mean, Rebecca has had a lot of bad things to say about people in general. One of her favorite hashtags is dogs are better than people. What mass murder is going on of dogs that I don't know about? Where is this happening? What mass murder is she talking about? Mass murder? Oh, is she talking about the mutts in shelters being euthanized? Well, there's an easy solution to that. Just euthanize all of them, 100% of them. Then there won't be any mass murders because they'll all be murdered. The government should order all these shelters to put all of them down. They're just that dangerous. Their statistics speak for themselves. So we're supposed to be worried about the safety of pit bulls? Does that make sense? When you have so many dog attack victims every year in this country, some 800,000 people need emergency care treatment. 800,000 dogs don't need emergency care treatment every year. Dogs not being sent to the hospital every year because of an attack by a human. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Now that's 800,000 people. Do you know some 50% of all attack victims are children? So you want to be concerned with dogs that are attacking these children at an epidemic level, some 400,000 a year. You're saying we should be worried about dogs being under attack and not these 400,000 children sent to the ER every year? So you're saying that we have our priorities misplaced, right? Nope, that don't make sense to me. I can't rock with that at all. Okay, she's selling tickets, $55, to attend her stand-up comedy skit. Okay? So these pit bulls are killers. That's a fact. They kill dozens of people every year. They maim and mutilate hundreds of thousands of people every year. Some 800,000. They're mutilated. They need surgery to be fixed. That's not happening to pit bulls. It's not happening to dogs at all. That's just a fact. The victims here are the people, primarily the children. Now, why do I say that? I have to point this out because, pit nutters, they don't seem to understand. You put a pit bull in a room with a child, every time the pit bull is safe. That's a fact. That's irrefutable. That's irrefutable. If a pit bull is inside of a room with a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, that pit bull is safe. That's a fact. The child is not safe. That's a fact. Nobody can guarantee that that child will come out of that room the same way the child went into it. But you can guarantee nothing's going to happen to that dog. Nothing whatsoever. So that means the child is helpless, but the dog isn't. But we're supposed to be worried about and concerned with dogs. That's what you think is important. Look at the stage when she does her comedy routine. The killers, and people, these things are the only killers. Nothing else. Well, I won't say that. Pit bulls, bully breeds, make up some 60-70% of all dog attack fatalities. But let's not focus on fatalities. Because like I said, maimings, mutilations are almost just as bad as a fatality. These life-altering attacks. These dogs are the only creatures on this planet that mutilate children under 13. And really, people in general. But we're supposed to be worried about the safety of the dogs? My point is, make this make sense. I'll support anything that makes sense. But see, my brain is not accepting that. That is not logical. Okay? I'm sending what you're saying. Rebecca, I am sending what you're saying to my processing database, my brain, and it's getting rejected. Each time it's getting denied because something is not making sense here. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but typically when I see a child with their face torn apart, I can't look at that for too long. I can't look at it for too long. I look at it for a couple seconds and then I automatically close my eyes and I look away. It's a very difficult visual. Looking at adults is difficult enough. This is Rebecca Cory. Now, in her mind, this is intelligent. This is an intelligent thing to do. Even though it leads you to things like this. This is what it leads to. Now, that's either true or it's not. When you behave like this, you open the door to end up like this. You open the door, you make it possible to end up like this. Now, this is why my brain is rejecting standing up for pets. Rejecting this lifestyle, period. Now you see these dog attack victims. Do you think it's worth it? Of course you do. You're a pit nutter. Of course you think. Of course you think it's. This mutt haul off and clamp down on your face. You're going to scream. Ah! Ah! You're going to roll around with a dog latched to your face. And then when they get the dog, if they get the dog off of you and you live, you're going to keep screaming and crying. They're going to rush you to the hospital, try to put your face back together, and you never look the same again. Whereas, had you not lived this lifestyle, it wouldn't have happened. I'd rather just not live that lifestyle. I'd rather just not experience dogs ever and be guaranteed to have my face intact. And if something does happen to my face, it's not because of what I knowingly did. It's not the result of me knowingly doing something dangerous that could get my face mutilated. That's the difference. Y'all remember this lady? This is where being a lover of pit bulls can lead you. So you have to answer the question before you can be a lover of these things. Is it worth it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. This is Rebecca Cory. Okay, she's a public figure. Okay, oh, sorry about that. Can't look at that for too long. Let me ask you something, Rebecca. Do you think that it's acceptable for a child to get their face ripped to shreds like that? Do you think that's acceptable? Do you think that's something that we just need to accept? Yes, you do. By default, when you support the presence of these things, you have to also accept these mutilations. Because you're supporting these mutilations. You just being in possession of these things. You're saying to the world, I'm willing to cause this to happen to your child. I'm willing to take the chance of my dog ripping your child's face off, your face and my face. I'm willing to take the chance. Okay? So, Rebecca, I'm saying that that's illogical. It's not intelligent. You know, I value my life and I value my freedom. I value my sanity. And it would drive me crazy if a dog that I own mutilated someone's child. I will never take that chance. Nothing is worth living with something like that on your conscious rest of your life. Make it make sense. Yeah, I just wanted to reflect on the mentality of pit nutters. This behavior, these talking points by Rebecca Cory, they're not exclusive to her. They are shared by all other pit bull advocates, all other pit bull lovers. According to them, the biggest problem in this country, according to them, this is a problem, period. Pit bulls, we're supposed to believe that pit bulls and other dogs are living a horrible life. Even though they're being pampered. They're the only animals that's being pampered by humans. Given free food and shelter their whole life. But we're supposed to feel guilty and supposed to feel like, terrorists that are terrorizing dogs. How does this happen? So she does this comedy routine where her and a bunch of other comedians get on stage with these killers as a backdrop, these child predators as a backdrop. Okay, that's another fact. That's another fact, Rebecca. These things prefer to attack children. That seems like why y'all so obsessed with them. Y'all obviously get off on the thought of a child being mutilated. Let me tell you something. When I first saw the photos of kids mutilated, it was disturbing. It permanently changed my mentality. It was that disturbing. See, you know, it's hard enough to see an adult with their face ripped off, hanging off. It's hard enough to look at a Jacqueline Durant, Brooklyn Curry. But those are adults. We're not supposed to see a child with a mutilated face. That's just something we're never, ever supposed to see. No matter what. And if it is happening, then whatever's causing it to happen needs to be stopped. That's irrefutable fact. But you want to keep it going. You want the cause of these evil attacks. You want the cause of these attacks to remain. That's irrefutable. And I don't. And you actually have the nerve to try to make us feel guilty? Really? Make us feel guilty about not supporting these things? Are you mad? There's no way. Are you kidding? You know how offensive this is? You know how many people have had their lives totally ruined being attacked unprovoked by one of these things? These things always attack unprovoked every single time. You know how many people have lost kids because of one of these soulless mutants? And you actually have a group of people out here going around exalting these things as if they're some type of angels. And they do this without any worry about who they may offend. All these victims out here who've been attacked themselves and who've lost family members, loved ones. Y'all have no problem with offending all of these people. And you instead, you get up here and call people the evil ones. She made another goofy tweet talking about how horrible humans are. Oh, humans. You know, if humans were really that horrible, Rebecca, these things would be exterminated by now. And really, that wouldn't make people horrible at all. You know what proves that humans are horrible? Is the fact these things are still alive. If the U.S. government decided to exterminate these things today, that would be a step forward in the morale of the U.S. government. I don't know what you're talking about. This is disturbing stuff. Now, me growing up, I came from a family. I come from a culture where you do not inflict harm on a baby or a child. And if you do, you're going to get dealt with by people in your family and in your community, period. You're going to get dealt with. In many places around the world, they have child trafficking organizations, these underground trafficking organizations, where these sick, evil perverts, grown adult men and women, they can go to these countries and ask the locals where they can find a child. And they will pay a pimp. And they will have relations with this child that they shouldn't have. And this is actually a business known, well known among the local people in these different countries. I'm not going to name any countries. But here in America, in the country and culture that I come from, you can't come into my neighborhood and ask anybody where they can find a child for their own personal pleasure. If you ask anybody that where I come from, you're going to be dealt with. It's a sin to not only harm children, but it's a sin to allow them to be harmed. It's an abomination and a disgrace to any country to allow it to happen, to sit back and say, okay, go ahead, mutilate this toddler. That's just as wicked. But that's exactly what pit bull advocates do. They say that this is acceptable, it's okay, it's just fine. My brain rejects this. I can't support this, Rebecca. A pit bull, a bully breed, has no business, even in the same neighborhood, as a human child. These things are predators. And all of us who are adults who've never been attacked, we can only consider ourselves lucky, having grown up in society where the adults allow these killers to roam freely. Let's not even talk about how disgusting they are, disease-ridden they are, how much they stink like dog, funky mildew, slobber and drool everywhere. We don't even need to deal with that. Where is that tweet? Boy, she really went in deep. Maybe it's on her Instagram. Let's look at her Instagram. Is this it? No, this is not it. This is not it. But she has a lot of harsh things to say about people. We're so horrible and evil. We're so evil. What makes us evil? The fact that shelters euthanize pit bulls? That's the only place this so-called mass murder is taking place. What is she talking about? Look, she sold out. You know, she always sells out these things. And using pit bulls is a big part of how she does it. That's a big part of how she gets support. That's like a marketing tactic. So if she's a corny comedian, she might still attract an audience because the audience are pit bull advocates, pit bull lovers. I don't think it's funny, but this is a wonderful cause. So yeah, my mind rejects it. Rejected, access denied. Okay? I don't see how this makes sense at all. The statistics that bully breeds produce are really jaw-dropping. They're jaw-dropping. Unlike you, I am concerned for any and all children in the presence of a dog. When I see kids at a playground and I see dogs nearby behind a little worthless fence, especially bully breeds, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to be worried. Not about the dogs. The dogs are not going to be harmed. That's a guarantee. They're not going to be harmed. The only ones going to be harmed are the young humans, the human children. This disregard for human children is really a sign of how much people hate themselves as humans, as people in general. And that's really why I have such a problem with it. This lack of protection for kids really just tells you how much people don't care about themselves. That's the true cause of it. Because if you value your own life, you're going to value your kid's life. You're going to value your neighbor's life. The kids of your neighbors, you're going to value their life. And you're not going to do anything to endanger them. That makes sense? Hey, Rebecca, look at this. Look at this. Look at these statistics. In 2018, nearly 27,000 people underwent reconstructive surgery. Now, guess what? On average, when children are attacked, they suffer more damage. Cut this in half. What do you get? 13.5 thousand? A little over 13,000 kids mutilated? Yeah, I'm not willing to accept that. I would rather try to eliminate this statistic. I, as an adult, don't want to undergo reconstructive surgery. I don't want other people to need surgery. Something is so easily preventable. And I don't want to see anybody's youngsters ripped to shreds either. Each day, nearly 1,000 people are treated in emergency departments every day. And to be honest, it's more than that. It's actually more than that, people. You're talking about emergency room visits? Just pull up a calculator. How many people, on average, are bitten by dogs each year? No, well, scratch that. Talking about emergency room visits. About 800,000 a year, right? Okay, so divide that by 365 days. That gives you 2,191 every single day in the United States. Whether it be 3 stitches, they need some type of patchwork because they were attacked by a dog every day. 2,191 people. That 1,000, that's actually only the kids. Each day, nearly 1,000 kids need emergency care treatment because of a dog attack. Rebecca, Cory, I think this is more of a problem than this mysterious, unknown abuse on bully breeds. Something that you can't even prove. Right? But you're going out on a limb, jumping out of the window with that one. Yeah, this is more important because guess what? I'm a human being myself. And I don't know if you've noticed, all other organisms, they look out for themselves. The last thing they're going to do is endanger their young by bringing predators around them. Now, if you want to be that type of organism, Hey, knock yourself out. But you should have your own island. You want to live like that? These people need to be exiled. Let's just keep it real. They need to be removed from evolved, civilized human beings. That level of primitiveness is overboard. It's overboard. You're talking about 1 out of 5 bites become infected? Really? So you don't have to get mutilated in a, severely. If the dog just breaks the skin, you got to worry about infections. Okay? What about fatalities? What about dog bite fatalities, huh? 2019. Oh, look at the bully breeds. You see that, Rebecca? Your beloved pooches. This is not a myth, by the way. This is a proven fact. When it comes to dog bite fatalities, your beloved bully breeds are responsible for some 80%. Well over 80%, to be honest, because this top one says pit bull. This next one says mixed breed. People, that's bully breed as well. That's exactly why they say mixed breed. Because they know it's mixed and they know it's a bully breed in there somewhere. That Rottweiler, add that on to that 69% too, okay? Add this 13 on, add that 8% on. These are all bully breeds. That boxers are bully breeds. This 2%, what is this? 1 per 8 different breeds? Okay, look at this. This one right here. This unknown, 4% unknown, bully breeds. Those are like always bully breeds. They get reported as unknown in mixes by the bully breed owners trying to protect the image of pit bulls. Okay, now this is just 2019. Rebecca, Cory, I think it's far more important to put an end to these senseless tortures. Do you understand? Every dog attack that results in a fatality, every single victim was tortured first. You want to talk about horrors? Every one of them, they were tortured before they were killed. These dogs that are being killed, they're being euthanized. They're not being tortured. And the only reason they're being euthanized is because there are too many of them. Too many of them are enjoying lifelong supply of free food and shelter. So you got older people here, some of them who worked at shelters. Rebecca Cory herself might end up on this list someday, putting her face up in the pit bull's face, thinking that's some type of lifestyle of an evolved human being or something. You see this, Rebecca Cory? This is a flipping infant, a 6-month-old infant. Here's another 2-year-old, a baby. Your beloved dogs, your bully breeds, they killed them. And they kill babies and kids all the time. Every year, they kill dozens. There's nothing more important than putting a stop to these types of killings. And keep in mind, those worthless dogs, they tortured these babies first. These babies spent a long time crying as they were being mauled. They were crying as they were being mauled. And then eventually their cries stopped because they had died. Here's a 2-year-old, another 2-year-old, all tortured, all slow deaths, all tortured. You understand, Rebecca? There is nothing that happens to any amount of pit bulls in the world that's more important than putting an end to these types of satanic, wicked killings, where all of them are preceded by torture. Here you got a 14-year-old. Do you know how long it took to kill this boy, Rebecca? You have any idea how long it takes for a 14-year-old boy to die? You know how long he was yelling, crying, screaming for help? Slowly killed by the creatures that you want to defend? Really? The general public can decide how much of a moral or humane person you are. All we're doing is illustrating what you stand for versus what we stand for. That's all we're doing. That's all I'm doing here. You support the idea of these types of killings continuing. You can't refute that. You, none of the pit bull advocates, you can't refute that. You support these types of killings continuing. I don't. I think they should be stopped. And the only way to put an end to them is to exterminate, ban and exterminate bully breeds, and then all the rest of these worthless mutts. But one step that has to be taken, is irrefutable, is the banning of bully breeds. They are by far, the most destructive. They bite more often, even though they only make up a small percentage of the dog population. They bite more often, and when they attack, the attacks are more severe. Oh yeah, this woman is everywhere. Here's an article. They did a piece on her. Comedian Rebecca Cory stands up for pit bull. Where's the honor in that, Rebecca? Where's the honor in that? Exactly how is this an honorable thing that you stand up for these child killers? That's a simple question, right? Easy. Should be easy to answer. What's honorable about that? Now, if you said that you stand up for abused human children, it would make sense. Nobody could ask you, where's the honor in that? You'd be like, what are you talking about? I'm a human. My job is to protect, the youth. It's not our job to protect no predator. It's our job to exterminate predators. If those predators can't stay in the wild, in their own part of the world, instead they want to infest our territory, and they prefer to attack children 13 and under. Children 13 and under make up about 17% of the U.S. population, but account for over 50% of dog attack victims. Where's the honor in that? Oh yeah, she's all over the news. She's all over. Just Google her, Rebecca Cory, pit bulls. You'll find several articles, right? Here's one of her routines. Oh boy, there are quite a few videos on this woman here. Somebody asked if she was funny. Shout out to, who is that in the chat room? Now, I don't know. I've never listened to her routine. But we're about to find out now. I think it was Louise. Who was that? Shout out to, yeah, Louise. So let's find out if she's funny. Oh boy. Stand up for Pitts. Okay, what is this? A bunch of nutter babble. Now this is what goes on. This is what goes on at her little events. A bunch of people putting their face up to a pit bull's face. That is, y'all wonder where our diseases come and where these pandemics come from. Here you go. Now that's Rebecca Cory right there. In the obsession with these things is so intense. Despite the fact these things do nothing for us other than attack us and make us sick. Now here's Rebecca Cory.
When people say things to me like, is that a pit bull? Oh my God, is that a pit bull? Is that my reaction is, yeah, hang on, oh,
Okay. That was her joke. You decide if that was funny. Yeah, that's actually kind of offensive. So she's trying to mock people who understand that this breed is inherently more dangerous. You can do that. You can mock people who acknowledge that, but hey, that don't make you look intelligent at all. Because it's an irrefutable fact. They prove that they're inherently more dangerous. You see what I mean? So I don't understand why these people think it's intelligent to support something that's not supported by facts and statistics. Okay, so what are you basing your support on? Just your emotions. Just their goofy feelings. That's the sad part about it. You know, I could easily see a distraught parent who has just had their child's face ripped off by one of these mutts. I could see one of those parents walking by and seeing this filth and kicking one of these dogs to the moon. You know, you catch them at the wrong time and they see people exalting these killers simply because they're killers. People, make no mistake. As someone else pointed out, the reason why they are so obsessed with dogs is because, not dogs, pit bulls. The reason why these people are so obsessed with pit bulls and bully breeds in general is because they know full well how dangerous they are. They're turned on by the risk involved. They're turned on by the fact that they mutilate people all the time. They hear about these statistics. They hear that all dog attack victims hospitalized 7 days or more were attacked by a pit bull, and it turns them on. If bully breeds were harmless, Rebecca Cory would not be a fan of them. Nobody would. They only are obsessed like this because these things are dangerous and deadly. Because they spill more blood and cause more permanent, lifelong mutilations than other dog breeds. That's exactly why they're so obsessed and crazy about these things.
Yeah, and in general, people don't understand how sweet they can be.
He said, people don't understand how sweet they can be. See, this is the IQ level of pit bull lovers. They're saying that our problem, we don't understand how sweet pit bulls can be. Okay, you've been around a few pit bulls that didn't rip your face off. That's basically all you're saying. And somehow because they didn't rip your face off, all of these other attacks are null and void, are irrelevant. Somehow that same pit bull that didn't rip your face off is somehow harmless. No, it's still dangerous. Okay, you spent a few minutes around it. It didn't rip your face off. That doesn't mean that that particular pit bull is harmless. And it doesn't mean that any other pit bull on earth is harmless. It just means that you're stupid for allowing them to stick around when there is always a portion of them launching unprovoked attacks. You see how that works? Oh, what a disgusting. I would be nowhere near no comedy show like this. Really? This is very offensive. Now listen to this.
The Million People March on DC is happening May 3rd, 2014.
She had a Million Pibbles March. Million Pibbles March on Washington, D.C. Rebecca Cory organized it. And do you know how many people showed up? She sort of created it based on the Million Man March that was organized by Louis Farrakhan. Was it early 90s, I think it was. So she wanted to have a Million Pibbles March, hoping that 1 million people would show up. And there was only about 4,000 people there, 4,500 people, about 4,500 people.
And the reason for it and the whole goal of the March on Washington is to end breed-specific legislation and abuse and dogfighting.
And breed-specific legislation and abuse and dogfighting. People, I do not believe that dogfighting is that prevalent. I don't believe it's that popular. What, are they trying to tell us that there's some underground dogfighting pit in every city? Now, I could be wrong, but I just don't believe it's all that popular. And she wants to end bans on bully breeds. Again, so she co-signs all of these mutilations and deaths. I'm sorry, but that's not honorable to me. There's no honor in that. And this is a big thing I hate about these pit bull advocates. They think they're so honorable that they speak in defense of these killers, these freeloading killers. There's no honor in that. They think that they can just spew this rhetoric and it doesn't have to make sense. Just as long as their emotions are in it, you're supposed to accept it. I don't think so.
The Million People March on DC is happening May 3rd, 2014. And the reason for it and the whole goal of the March on Washington is to end breed-specific legislation and abuse and dogfighting.
And abuse. Nobody abusing these things. You know what the abuse they're talking about? They're just talking about people who defend themselves from an attack. And they're also talking about the people who train pit bulls because they understand that you have to be more aggressive with pit bulls. The average person, pit bull lover, especially the males, they understand that you got to smack pit bulls around more often. You got to be all of them. And this is based on what they say. That you have to be a strong leader and very stern, and you have to lay down the rules. Most dog or pit bull owners, they interpret that as being physically aggressive and using physical punishment. That's why you see so many videos of a lost pit bull and the owner walking up and beating it half to death. That's all they mean. So this abuse that she keeps talking about, it really reflects how dangerous and aggressive pit bulls are. The only reason some people are more aggressive with them is because they're so dangerous and deadly. And the pit bulls prove that. The statistics bear witness to that.
I don't know what there, if there's a word, like I don't know if there's a word for what I feel when I wake up in the morning. It's like when I wake up after I've had my panic attack and then I fall back asleep and I wake up and I look at Angel. It's literally like Christmas morning to me.
She's talking about her pit bull. This is the logic now. This is the logic. She said when she wakes up and look at her dog, it feels like Christmas. This is why she says these things should be legalized and protected. Because when I look at it, it feels like Christmas. No facts, no statistics, no statement from professionals. No, just their delusional emotion and imagination.
I look at Angel. It's literally like Christmas morning to me. It is literally like Christmas. It is like, how do I have this beautiful, fuzzy, keg-shaped, hungry, hippo-looking, farting, foul-breathed, licking.
I think she said something licking. Wait a minute. What did she say?
Licking.
Look at her mouth. Look at her lips. Try to distinguish what she said just then. What did she say that got bleeped out?
Hungry, hippo-looking, farting, foul-breathed, licking.
Did you hear that? Did you see her lips? What did it look like she said to you? It looked like she said something that starts with a P and ends with a Y. This is a single woman. Okay.
Licking, 13 nipple having, delicious piece of heaven next to me. I'm so.
She's describing the pit bull, people.
So lucky every day. We want you guys.
I'm sorry, but that is disturbing. The obsession is disturbing. That does not seem normal at all. Is that a reasonable obsession? I have to factor this in. If I'm going to support these things like you're asking people to do, I have to listen to you. I have to hear you out. I'm trying to hear her case, and this is what she's saying.
What I feel when I wake up in the morning, it's like when I wake up after I've had my panic attack and then I fall back asleep and I wake up and I look at Angel. It's literally like Christmas morning to me. It is literally like Christmas. It is like, how do I have this beautiful, fuzzy, keg-shaped, hungry, hippo-looking, farting, foul-breathed.
Farting, foul breath. Okay, so she's saying that she accepts that. A stinking breath, farting, dogs stink, period. That's all. I told y'all. These people become numb to the stench. They become like dogs themselves. They're okay with the stench, with the disgustingness of it all, with the slobber, the drool everywhere, the excrement everywhere, stains and traces of excrement everywhere, all on their bed, on their pillows. Nothing that can come from a dog would disgust her and other pit bull lovers. You really got to be mindful of that to know what you're getting into.
Licking, 13 nipple having, delicious piece of heaven next.
Delicious piece of heaven. It's just a dog. And I'm worried about anybody this obsessed with anything. It better be something very important
to me. I'm so lucky every day. We want you guys to meet Angel. I'm sure you all.
Okay, she says she's lucky. She didn't explain why she's lucky, what makes her lucky. You know, you're lucky for what? You know, you're lucky that the thing haven't ripped your face off by now. That's what you lucky. You lucky you haven't caught some crazy sepsis and had your limbs amputated. Capnocytophaga. You can talk about luck. You think you lucky just being in the presence of? That makes no sense. Okay, my brain has rejected your offer. That's all I'm asking. Makes sense.
I've seen her, but this is the reason for why we are here. This amazing dog, and one more hand for Rebecca for putting this whole thing on.
This is so disgusting, weird, and cringe. Highly offensive. Highly offensive. As much bloodshed and turmoil as these things have caused, and these creatures exclusively, I always have to point this out, dogs and only dogs leave us with these gruesome images that we have available to us. Like I tell people all the time, and the first time I did this, I was well over 20. I was in my 20s. I Googled dog attack child, and I made the mistake of clicking images. Okay? Horrible, horrible images there. And she is saying that it's honorable to exalt the only creatures on earth that leaves people in this condition. Unprovoked attack that leaves people's children in this condition. So listen, I have to ask myself, is that an honorable thing? Should I join in with her and support Pitbull? I don't think so. You all are free to do whatever you want to do. I don't think so. Yeah, count me out. In fact, I'm across the street advocating for these things to be banned and exterminated. Now, this is her website. Standupforpits.us. All right, you got a little. I cannot imagine how much she's raised in donations throughout her career. But she's a bona fide dog lover. You know, I don't think she's doing it just for the financial support. She seems like a bona fide dog lover, most definitely. Okay, does she have... Okay, what is this? Oh boy, brace yourself. I haven't watched this yet.
My name is Rebecca Cory, and I'm the organizer and founder of the first ever 1 Million Pitbull March on Washington, D.C.
Okay, this was her march on D.C. In the march, the goal was to remove all bans in the country, all bans on pit bulls. Is that honorable? Nah, I don't think so. There's nothing about that I can respect at all. You're on your own with that one. But the future for us is similar to this, where we are in Washington, D.C., in large numbers, but we're not dealing with no emotion. We're dealing with facts. That's the difference. That's the difference between us.
Pitbull March on Washington, D.C. People ask all the time, what can I do to help this situation? And the answer is everything. You can do everything. We live in 2014, where you have access to social media, to any piece of information that you want on planet Earth. If you want to plan a march in your town, in your city, in your state.
Oh my goodness. Man, look at that thing. Boy, you talk about a mistake. That's an accident. That's an accident. I am so thankful to Mother Nature that she does not produce dysfunctional looking creatures like that. This looks like an error. This was a genetic error. Hey, I'm just not pleased to lay eyes on this thing. And it's hard to accept the idea that these things look attractive in any way. Okay, that's another reason why I can't support your little goofy movement.
If you want to plan a march in your town, in your city, in your state, at your capital, plan it. If you want to start a petition, there's a million sites to start petitions. Get signatures. Do it. Go after politicians who are for breed-specific legislation. Encourage legislators to create programs on a federal and state and local and county level to end abuse and to hire people to enforce animal cruelty laws.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Instead, I'm going to be advocating for these things to be banned. I'm going to put a spotlight on the attacks, on each case, on the prevalence. I'm going to put a spotlight on the fact that your beloved pit bulls inflict significantly more damage on average than other breeds. They are inherently more dangerous, inherently evil. Okay? Yeah, that's what I'm going to spend my time doing. Trying to urge lawmakers to tighten up these bans, not remove them, to put them in place. Okay?
We are the majority. Good people are the majority.
Listen to her. Good people are the majority. Good people don't keep these things in society. Good people don't say to themselves that these senseless deaths are acceptable. No, good people don't do that. See, there's the problem right there. That's what you're having problems with. You can't even distinguish good from bad. No, good people look at these senseless, unnecessary killings, tortures, and say, look, we don't need that. Good people look at these types of sickening images and they say, we need to stop that no matter what. That's what good people do. She sounds confused about what good people do and think. I'm trying to help her out. That's what good people do. Good people look at images like that and they're disturbed. Okay, let's let her finish.
Bad people are not. So if good people work together, this can end. In our lifetime, this can end.
What can end? Whatever you say happening to pit bull, what's happening to pit bulls right now is not harming me at all. I don't know what people out here doing with pit bulls, and I don't care. I don't know if they're feeding them or slapping them around. Has nothing to do with me. What does have something to do with me is when I walk out to get my mail, take out the trash, someone's goofy, stupid, worthless pit bull running up to me, trying to attack me. Now pit bulls have something to do with me. See how that works? So I'm not finding any benefit. If you ask people to do something, get involved in something, you have to say or offer them a benefit. There has to be some type of benefit in it for them. I'm not seeing any benefit in defending pit bulls.
Where it's like, wait, you weren't allowed to live in a building because you had that dog? That it will be shocking to them. Or that... Yeah.
You want to bring one of these nasty deadly mutants into an apartment complex, yeah, you should be denied. Lunatic. Because as soon as this thing tries to attack your neighbors, you are going to be worthless. You're going to stumble and fall, and you're going to be totally ineffective at controlling it. The dog is going to be mauling someone or someone's child, and you're not going to have any power to stop it. You're going to scream like an idiot. Then you're going to tell us about how it has never shown aggression in the past, just like all the other pit bull lovers do. So this is proven. This is proven. What's not going to happen is pit bulls all across the country not attacking people. That will never happen. Ever, ever, ever. So the best option is to exterminate all of them. That's heaven. You want to talk about heaven? That's our piece of heaven. A global extermination of all bully breeds.
People fought dogs in trunks of cars and U-Hauls and in basements and behind. What? Our children's children or my children would go, that's insane. It's unacceptable.
This woman is trying to speak on behalf of children. What in the world? What did she just say?
And behind. What? Our children's children or my children would go, that's insane. It's unacceptable behavior.
Huh? You know, the children who follow my channel, they don't have a problem with pit bulls not being around. They prefer it. Because at least they know that they're safe. So you're telling me that children are disappointed about there being a pit bull ban? Okay, if you say so.
That's all fixable. It's all doable. But people have to empower themselves to do something.
What in the world? What benefit are you getting from these things? What are these things doing for your life other than draining your finances, infecting you with who knows what? I'm sure she got all kinds of foreign parasites, bacteria, viruses all in her body. What benefit are you getting out of this? This thing is doing absolutely nothing for you. It's not enhancing the quality of your life at all. It only has a negative impact. The only thing it does for you is satisfy some personal emotion inside your brain where you wake up, look at it, and you get off on the side of it. That's not tangible. There's no tangible benefits owning these things. But if you remove them from society, that will give people tangible benefits. Enhanced health is tangible. Not having to worry about being mutilated, that's tangible. That's something real. Okay? This woman, as well as all other pit bull advocates, they don't offer anything beneficial that's real. Okay, and that's her speech. That's her great wisdom. So she spends an awful lot of time on Twitter babbling. I mean, a whole lot of time on Twitter babbling. And I just gave her something else to babble about. Now, she just posted this as I've been live here. Today is the day the amazing humans of Washington State will stand up for pits. Dogs labeled pit bull type dogs still face the ignorance and evils of humanity. Okay, so Ignorance and evil. Now, if I'm being ignorant and evil, that matters. That matters to me. I don't want to be ignorant and evil. So tell me how I'm being ignorant and evil. Oh, well, I'm ignorant because I'm saying that these things are more dangerous than other breeds. That's not ignorant. That's a fact. That's scientifically proven. So there's nothing evil about that. There's nothing evil or ignorant about acknowledging the statistics, the data that pit bulls themselves produce. So I have never found anything that comes from pit bull advocates that actually makes sense or that's logical or intelligent in any way whatsoever. So there you have it, people. Comedian Rebecca Cory, who is more than anything else obsessed with pit bulls, and she is a defender of pit bulls. Boy, boy, boy. Yeah, this world is evil and wicked, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy. It feels like the world's coming to an end. Right? Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Sunny Day. Gene in the building. Good to see everybody. Star One. Got some new faces. Lero Leronimus. All right. Big shout out to you. WS90. Josephine Tracy. Natalie. Right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Mr. Payne ABQ in the building. All right. And I hope Rebecca Cory was in the building. Right? Kittens, Matthew, Michelle Parks in the building. Raphael. Rebecca Cory, I hope you are able to join us, or at least you'll be able to catch this stream at some point. And people feel free to, follow Rebecca Cory if you want. Yeah, her event is going down today. I'm going to make sure I keep up with it, and I'll keep you all posted on any relevant development that takes place. Shout out to everybody that was able to join me for this live stream, and I hope to see you all back on the next as we continue with this crusade.